It's been a great week here at the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Subs are climbing and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Tomorrow marks the 100th day of daily content. On December the 7th, I decided to go from twice weekly to daily content. And it's been 100 consecutive days that I've been able to bring you daily content on the channel, all about the sneakers. And what I'm doing for that special 100th day episode is a history of the Bread 4s, which are going to be dropping later on in spring or early summer. So to celebrate my favorite silhouette of all time, I'll be bringing you that history of the Bread 4s tomorrow to mark 100 days of daily drops here at the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. But today is not tomorrow. Today is today, and today I'm bringing you another cracking review or preview or whatever you want to call it, because Yeezy tomorrow are also dropping 3 different sneakers. They're dropping 3 350s, but the special thing about them is that they're dropping them in particular places. Asia is one of them. I'm here in Tokyo, Japan, and we're getting one particular sneaker. I reviewed that sneaker back on Wednesday. It's called the Hyperspace. But today, I've reserved that for reviewing the 2 that are not dropping here in Asia. There's one dropping in the Americas, which is called the Clay, and there's one dropping in Europe, which is called the Terraform or the True Form. I prefer to call it the Terraformer, but you know, knock yourself out, call it whatever you want. Today, we're looking at those 2 sneakers. We're looking at the Yeezy 350 Terraformer from Europe and the Yeezy 350 Clay from the Americas. As I said in the introduction, today is all about those Yeezys that are dropping 3 different ones in 3 different places across the globe. I did talk on Wednesday about how that's going to drive sales and also how that's going to drive the resale price on these Yeezys. Whether it will do either or not, we find out tomorrow when these guys drop. They're all interesting looking sneakers in interesting different ways. And there's elements about each one that I like and elements that I don't. If you'd crammed them all together into one sneaker, I might have liked that sneaker totally, but that's not what we got. We got 3 different sneakers with different elements to them, which I'll be bringing you today. Tomorrow I'll be bringing you that Bread 4 history video, all about the history of the Air Jordan 4 Bread in particular, but also like elements of the Jordan 4 line. It's been 30 years since the Jordans dropped for the first time in 1989, and now in 2019 they celebrate that 30 years with some interesting and some unique and some absolute hype variations on the Air Jordan 4 line. And the Jordan 4 Breads are top of the list for most people, so I'll be bringing you a little history video about those things to celebrate 100 days of continuous daily videos here at Tokyo Butter 23. I don't get paid for this because I'm under 1,000 subscribers, so that's 100 days of free content for you, the viewer out there. And all I ask in return is that you hit that subscribe button down below. It's a fair trade. You watch my free content and I get your subscription to my channel. So please hit the subscribe down below and help me grow this channel. And eventually, when the channel gets big enough, I'll start getting stuff in hand as opposed to have to rely on screenshots to do my reviews. For now, let's get into these 2 sneakers that are dropping tomorrow as part of the 3-pack of Yeezy 350s. The Hyperspace here in Asia, I did say I reviewed on Wednesday, but today it's all about the Clays in the Americas and the Terraform in Europe. The first thing that we notice when we look at the Europe and the Americas versions that are dropping tomorrow, when we compare them to the Hyperspace, which are also dropping tomorrow, but which I reviewed on Wednesday, the Hyperspace has a more yellow sort of feel to it, and I didn't like that because I thought that yellowing effect gave it a look of aging, as if they've been sitting on shelves in sunlight for too long. But these 2, the Clays and the Terraformers, are more orange in their look, and it's that earthy feel that they're going for in the design and in the upper and in the colorway of these 2 particular silhouettes. So they have that orange feel to them, and that orange feel comes in, and most notably in the pull tab on the heel. If you look at the Hyperspace from Wednesday, you'll know that that did not have a colored pull tab on the heel, but these 2, the Clays and the Terraforms, both have exactly the same orange color tab on that heel, color on that heel tab there. But it also sort of bends around and bleeds into the stripe on the side. You've got that translucent stripe which is on the side there, which first we saw on the Statics that dropped at the end of December, and you can see that the heel tab itself actually wraps around the heel and supports the heel quite deep into the stripe, almost to the midfoot actually, and that orange heel tab really pops out of that translucent stripe on the side. Now the translucent stripe on the side of both of these, because of that orange effect, I think looks good. I said that the yellowing on the ones for the Hyperspace that are dropping tomorrow as well, but I reviewed on Wednesday, the yellowing on that I didn't really go with, but the orange on this I think actually does look good, and it does help the sneaker pop. So the translucent stripe on the side of these ones I do go with, whereas I didn't go with it on the Hyperspace. Now we're going to have a look at two features of these, the Hyperspace, the Terraform and the Clay. There's two features on them, one on each sneaker that I like, but on the other sneaker I don't like it. So what we're talking about is we're talking about the upper. I like one of the uppers and I don't like the other, and I like one of the midsoles and I don't like the other. The midsole being interesting because you can't really see it, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the upper first, you've got the two uppers, you've got the Clay in the Americas and then you've got the Terraform in the Europes. I like the Clay. I'm not a huge fan of the Terraform one. The Terraform one is very like the Hyperspace one in that it's a single tone, and I think they've wasted the design element that came out with the statics and that two-tone element. I talked on Wednesday how I don't like the single tone element of the upper on the Hyperspace, something in my way there. And I talked, and I also, but I do like how in the Clay version, you've got that kind of orange and grey playing off each other in the prime net, and it gives that two-tone effect. So I do like the upper in the Clay version, whereas I'm not a huge fan of the upper in the Terraformer version. But then when we go down to the midsole, there's something going on there that's super unique and looks really, really good. And if you have a good close-up look at it, in the Clay version, the same as in the Hyperspace versions that I spoke about on Wednesday, both of which drop tomorrow on Saturday. I'm not saying one dropped previously, I'm saying they all drop tomorrow. I'm just saying I reviewed them on different days. But anyway, the midsoles that are encased in that outsole on both the Clay and the Hyperspaces looks like your standard white midsole, nothing special there. But if you have a good close look at the midsole on the Terraformers, which are dropping in Europe, or Terraform, which are dropping in Europe, it actually looks like there's some kind of colouring on the inside, which is really unique, because if you have a look at the point where you can see it, the best place to look is at the heel, because you can see the translucence of the outsole is a clear translucence. It's not a coloured translucence. But if you look at the actual midsole encased within that outsole, there's colour there, and it looks like it's an orange midsole inside the translucent outsole, which if it is a pretty cool design element, which I'm actually behind. I think Adidas in general, in the Ultra Boost line as well as the NMD line and the Yeezy line, I don't think they've done enough with colouring their boost. It would have been something that they could have done more of. I think there was hype behind triple blacks, for example, but then they kind of just stopped there and they didn't really go more into that. I don't know why, there might be a reason for it, but I think they could have done more with coloured boost. And if these Yeezy Terraforms from Europe have a coloured boost on the inside, that's a really good step forward. And it does, either way, even if I'm wrong and it's not coloured or it's something to do with the actual outsole itself, that doesn't really matter. If I'm wrong, what does matter is that they look really, really good. And I'm with the Terraformer outsole and midsole, and I'm with the Clay upper. And if you put those two together, I think you'd have an absolute banging sneaker. So either way, the three sneakers that are dropping, they all have different elements to them that I like and that I don't like. I don't think any of them are going to really set the hype on fire, but I did say on Wednesday, and I'll say it again now, that being available in three different locations, which actually means they're not available in many locations. If you think about it, the Hyperspace is available here in Japan, but not available in the Americas. I don't know what that's going to do to resale or retail. People might look at it and say, right, this sneaker is only available in Asia, so I'm going to buy that and I'll be able to resell it in America for a larger price. And you'll see a bit of a boost, for want of a better word, in resale prices for these three and in how quickly they sell out, because Yeezys haven't been selling out very well recently. Or they'll just continue that trend of the declining hype for the Yeezy line, and they will just, sell out or not sell out, sit or not sit in a sort of standard sort of release as other sneakers do, as opposed to that 10-minute hype release where they sell out in a heartbeat. So it'll be interesting tomorrow to look and see which happens, whether they sell out quickly or not. I'm not going to be trying to pick up any of these guys, I don't think, unless I find a trend that tells me that resale is actually going to be real high on them. I might actually have a shot at StockX. I have never sold anything on StockX, so it might be an interesting sneaker to start with, to buy that Japan only or Asia only Hyperspace and then sell on StockX and see if I can turn a little profit on that. But for the sneaker itself, not for the resale, I'm not all that interested in these three, to be honest, and I'll just let them sit and I'll sit back and watch and see if the hype does explode or see if it just sort of fizzles out, as has been happening recently with Yeezys. For now, it's time for me to sign off and say thanks for checking in. Tomorrow marks 100 days of continuous videos, 100 days of daily drops for you guys out there. It's been a lot of hard work to do that, to bring you those content every single day at 7 p.m. Japan time, wherever that is in the world for you. Thanks for checking out the content. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I look forward to celebrating 100 days with you tomorrow. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Please make sure that you check in with me every single day as I drop this content for you, the viewer at home. For now, it's time to thank you again for dropping in and say I will definitely see you tomorrow.